Welcome to today's video for the Sage data management and data modeling features integrated into Sage X3. Sage data management and data modeling provides a rich and easy modeling experience for your Sage X3 data. Integrated into the Sage X3 user interface, the Sage data management and data modeling removes many of the complexities of integrating data from Sage X3 with data from a variety of other sources. The platform seamlessly supports the automation of the extract, transformation, and loading processes for creating a central data hub, all the while providing a strongly governed experience where data quality can be measured, security of the data by different user groups and roles can be enforced, overall performance of the data hub can be reviewed, along with being able to analyze usage of the data hub. The Sage Data Management and Data Modeling platform delivers pre-packaged data models which are optimized for all elements of reporting and analysis. Through support for multiple data sources, the Sage Data Management and Data Modeling platform can bring together an organization's most recent Sage X3 investments with data from other ERP, CRM, or HCM platforms. This broad data source support factors heavily into an organization's ability to blend Sage X3 data with data that might otherwise have been problematic to bring across as a result of an upgrade or a migration. Additionally, as we'll show momentarily in our demo, all elements of complexity have been abstracted, creating an easy platform upon which to build analytics and reports. The Sage Data Management and Data Modeling solution has a deep understanding of Sage X3 as a data source. Data Management and Data Modeling not only captures the data needed for your Sage X3 analytics, but also captures the metadata, or information that defines the solution, such as captions for columns, localization captions, dimensions, relationship configurations, and many other empowering technical details. With profiling of the data, a Sage Data Management and Data Modeling user will have a rich experience seeing how data is populated in the Sage X3 application and receiving helpful recommendations to further assist in the design process of a Sage X3-centered data management and modeling solution. The Sage Data Management and Data Modeling solution is embedded directly within the Sage X3 application. With support for all of the modules of Sage X3, having a quick view across all of your Sage X3 data plus other data sources has never been easier. Let's take a closer look. Here we will take a closer look at the data model available as a menu item on the Sage X3 System Administrator's homepage. As described in the prior slides, the Sage Data Management and Modeling platform is a very approachable means for leveraging all of your Sage X3 data and other sources of data in one centralized, automated data hub. In this model, we have multiple data sources. We have information that we've included from a Salesforce data source. In this case, this is being used to support reporting across ERP, CRM, and HRM data in the same reports. Further, we're using Excel-based data sources to otherwise enrich the data. Excel and other file-based data sources can be used to further augment the information that's available from Sage X3 as an application, particularly useful in the scenarios where we need to consolidate accounts across multiple companies, possibly from multiple ERPs, in a much easier way. Let's take a closer look at the Sage X3 data source. Here within the Sage X3 data source, it becomes fairly obvious to see the intelligent way in which both data and metadata are being extracted. Note the integration of the captions, the modules, and the relationships, which describe the relationships between the various tables we've selected in this model, in this consolidated view. Further, we're also using profiling to allow the user to see the number of rows in each of the underlying individual tables. The deep integrations with Sage X3 as a data source make it much easier and much more approachable for users, whether it's working with the standard configuration of Sage X3 as an application, or needing to include the introduced third-party add-ons or further customizations to the data model. This can be done by business users, analysts, or partners who have access to this data management and modeling feature set. As we come back to the data model, within each one of the data sources are a number of underlying pipelines. These are the elements that we want to actually extract from the underlying data sources. As their name implies, they serve to deliver data from one or more data sources to the centralized data hub. Let's take a closer look at the accounting budget lines as an example of one of these pipelines. Across the top of the screen here, you see multiple steps that I am highlighting for you now. These multiple steps, done in succession, allow for the transformation of data from an originating form, starting in the application, to something that is much more reasonable for the purposes of reporting and analysis. As we look at the originating form of the accounting budget lines pipeline, you'll notice that there are multiple columns for the same amount, translating into 12 columns per amount, per actual amount, and other metrics as well. Using the step-based functionality of the pipeline, we're actually able to apply an unpivot transformation. This unpivot transformation takes those columns, in this case 12 amounts, 12 actual amounts and others, and turns those into underlying rows. Those underlying rows then support a much more rich and robust analysis and reporting experience. Within each of these steps, it is easy for the users to add other elements to the data model. They can choose to use a lookup functionality, in which case we can look up and draw upon columns from other related tables, all of which are intelligently being identified by the Sage data management and modeling platform. Or we can enrich the data through calculations, which might make the most sense in a scenario where we need to have a common way of calculating values for the purposes of reporting. Returning back to the data model and collapsing the pipelines view, you'll notice that there's some other elements that are part of the overall model configuration. Process configurations allow for us to schedule one or more elements of the data model for processing from the originating data source. This gives us tremendous flexibility and ensures that data that needs to be refreshed frequently is absolutely done, and data that maybe needs less frequent refreshes can also be accommodated. Database scripts give us the opportunity to apply larger scale transformations to data sets, such as geocoding data, applying transformative scripts across an entire pipeline's worth of information, or other elements that might serve to enrich the model for the purposes of reporting. The roles that you see at the bottom of the screen define the security definition, and by which we can add multiple roles to the application to allow for different configurations of users being able to see data. Data can be secured at whatever grain is relevant for a given user population. This concludes our demonstration. And at this point, we would very much like to thank you for taking the time to view today's video. With so much to show, we encourage you to take your next opportunity to take a closer look at the Sage data management and data modeling platform. Thank you.